7:30 p.m. Mrs. Arcisi, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Darrow.
Here.
Mr. Engel.
Here.
Ms. Hannikin.
Here.
Mr. Mulder.
Here.
And Ms. Tully.
All right, I'd like to ask everyone to stand now. Please remove your hats as Council President Rita Darrow leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance, after which she will say the invocation tonight.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all of us who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measures of health we need to fulfill our duties, for the ability to be involved in useful work, for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities, for the freedom to embrace you. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I am asking that you would graciously grant us wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interest and issues for our times. Since a sense of wisdom of the welfare and true needs of our people, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement. I pray for the agenda set before us today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Macedonia, Ohio. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rita.
You're welcome, Don.
All right, first let's start with minutes. Do we have any changes to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to accept?
Don,
Yes.
I believe we had the minutes that from last council meeting.
They were on the agenda.
Okay, I don't know, I don't have them with me, Josephine, but I don't know what.
2 weeks ago. Okay, so they're on the agenda. They were sent out 2 weeks ago and they were generated again.
Right, there's just one of the minutes, there's a section where Mr. Deemert had walked out on council. He left for an emergency. I'd like that striked out of the minutes only because, and just like maybe say for personal reasons or
Okay,
something.
Perfect.
Because of the statement in it, and I just
Okay,
thought that it
perfect.
would be inappropriate to put that in the minutes.
I believe it was the June 11th minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you. I wasn't sure which ones they were,
Yeah,
but I just
I'm
thought it would
pretty
be appropriate for Mr. Deemert to.
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
So you're making it, your motion to amend those minutes?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Are there any changes, or do I have a motion to accept?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I've been asked to have Josephine read a letter before we start tonight. So Josephine, could you please do that at this time?
This is from Councilwoman Tully. To the residents of Macedonia, my apologies for my inability to attend tonight's meeting. Throughout this year, several life experiences have occurred with our council members: graduation, family reunion, funerals. Meetings rearranged so a member could attend. I'm out of town with another life experience, the birth of a grandbaby. I did not request that this meeting be moved to accommodate my potential absence. Hard to always predict an angel's arrival. But note, I've reviewed the agenda and kept in touch with the items to be discussed. Again, my apologies, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Jan.
Thank you. The next part of the meeting is comments by the public. Whenever you're going to make a comment here, we ask you to sign in. We have a sign-in sheet at the front door when you come in. We also ask that you come to the front. We have a microphone here. Please state your name and address. And the first name on the agenda tonight is Dan Havlicek.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Havlicek, as the mayor said. I live at 8310 South Shepherd Road. I've been in this community since 1957, so I'm no stranger to the area or the people. Graduated school here, sent my 3 children here, they graduated school here, but I'm not happy with the way things are going at all. Now, some of my question is directed at Mr. Miglerini, because the way I ask is, Mr. Miglerini, did you in fact serve in the military, and if so, when and where? And were you in a combat area?
Questioning the audience is not appropriate.
Okay, also, I have a question, I have a comment here. In Mr. Miglierini's bio, in his biographical layout, he mentioned that he is a member of the VFW. Unless he was in the service, and unless he was in combat, he could not be a member of the VFW. He could be a social member of the VFW, but that's not in his bio. So by saying he's a member of the VFW, he is basically spitting in all the people who served, including myself, face by saying he's a member of the VFW. The other thing I have is, why were you invited to the meeting with the people discussing the Memorial Park when my council president wasn't invited and my council vice president wasn't invited to that meeting? And neither was any of the people who were directly responsible for that. So that's a question for me. Unfortunately, you invite one person to go to the meeting, and he goes, but you don't invite the council president and the council vice president. To me, that's not government. That's government like North Korea. North Korea does those kind of things. Let's see. Who was at that meeting, Mr. Miglerini? Or, Mr. Mayor, who was at that meeting, please?
We had a meeting of the members of post, what's the post number?
801, sir.
801.
That I'm a member of.
All right, and that meeting was asked for by your post.
Yes, it was asked for by Mr. Turley. I know that.
Yes, correct. And he also, I made an announcement at the last council meeting that there will be a committee. And if anybody was interested, all they had to do was call and say, we want to get involved.
I'm
You
interested.
can call, and you can call your own people.
They didn't know about
You
it
don't have to
either.
call me because I don't know who was coming to that meeting. That meeting was put together entirely by your people, not me.
You mean by the veterans?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clarify what you talk about, your people. My feeling is, if we're going to have something that has to deal with the veterans in this area, it shouldn't be in that 1 acre parcel that you call the Memorial Park. It should be located next to the manor house where the man who built it served in not one war, ladies and gentlemen, 2 world wars, okay? He was that kind of a patriot. And I feel that's where our memorial for us veterans belongs, not in that 1 acre parcel in the middle of town with all the businesses around it. I feel it belongs with the man who actually served 2 world wars. I can't even claim that, and I don't think there's anybody in this room that can claim that. So I'm feeling that we have this situation where the people, especially the veterans, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, according to the 2010 census, there are 1,150 of us that live just in Macedonia. That doesn't include those in Twinsburg, Northfield, Sagamore Hills, and all those other communities. Just in this city, there's, according to the census, there's 1,150 of us. I think we deserve something more than a 1 acre parcel or a ½ acre parcel in the middle of the industrial and commercial area. I think we deserve something over there at the Longwood Manor that stands for the person who actually did make it through 2 wars, and generously that he was, gave us 300 acres of prime real estate for nothing. How many people you know did that? I know Mr. Miglerini didn't give us 20 inches for nothing. And if he did, correct me.
Are you done?
I guess so. I think my 5 minutes is up, is it not?
5 seconds.
Oh, well, I'll say I'm done then, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
In the last 5 seconds, So I'd like to thank you for speaking tonight.
If
Thank
you're a
you.
veteran, thank you
All
for your
veterans.
service.
Yes.
Thank you
twice
for
in
your
Vietnam.
service.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
That's exactly why we're doing something for the veterans. That's exactly why the veterans have contacted me and are working with me to show and honor. That park will be renamed for the veterans, all right? And they are working with us. They came to me to better appreciate our veterans. And how can we do it best? Is by working with the post. That's how we do it best. Next on the list is Joseph Miglerini.
Mayor, Council, Joe Miglerini, 1182 Mig Court. Been a resident of Macedonia for 38 years, continuous 38 years, by the way. Just to answer Mr. Havlicek's one question, and I'll only answer it in one way, and that is that I was made a honorary member of the VFW back when I was mayor-elect back in 1988. Mr. Havlicek, so that's how I became a member of the local VFW down the street. Just, yes. Just to talk about Memorial Park, and Mayor, thanks for me being on the Veterans Advisory Committee for Memorial Park. I just want to say a little history. We're talking about Colonel Long, but we need to talk about Colonel Peck, who in fact is the person that gave us that 1 acre site there for Memorial Park. It's a beautiful little park, and when I was doing phase 1 of Route 82 widening, I had to go through an act of God to find the heirs of of Colonel Peck, so that we could relocate South Bedford Road to where it's at today. And then we gave them back we gave the park back equal amount of land where the road was taken. So that's really, if you're talking about having to honor somebody who gave the first donation to the city of Macedonia, which was a park, and he was a colonel, that's where we should be honoring an individual. Not that we shouldn't be honoring Mayor Long, because he was a very generous and great guy for the city of Macedonia. Having said that, and having attended the meeting, there was some concerns about where was the veterans going to get monies for Memorial Park. And I'm happy to provide this information to Mayor and Council and general public that NOPEC, which I have been the chair of, I was chair of it in 2005 through 2014 of the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, where we have given away around $16 million to all the Northeast Ohio communities, and by the way, have saved residents in Northeast Ohio over $250,000 in energy, or $250 million in energy costs. We have about $35,000 in grant funds yet to provide to the city of Macedonia, and I recommend that $20,000 goes to Memorial Park for the Veterans Monument there, and energy costs related to underground electrical, and that the other $15,000 go to the Longwood Manor. So, Mayor, I provided you with the change orders, or the change order grant request, and once we get that done, I'll make sure that we get it through NOPEC, and we'll get you the monies over here. Now, there's one caveat to that, and that is that, as you know, the money has to be spent first, and then you get the money after you have spent the money on whatever the energy efficiency costs are. So I wanted to provide that to you, and I want to thank you, and actually I see Tom O'Brien here, and Tom, he's on the advisory board, and I think that there's a bunch of good people that are sitting there, and I'm excited about being involved in that process. So thank you for having me up here.
Thank you, Joe. We will get those papers to you as soon as possible. All right, next, Tom O'Brien.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Tom O'Brien. I live at 1049 Thornton Court, 30-year resident of Macedonia. First moved here, I lived over on Brook Point Drive, and my neighbor right behind me was this gentleman right here, Mr. David Engel, Councilman David Engel. Good to see you, Tom.
Good to see you. I didn't recognize you at first.
I didn't recognize you either.
At least you didn't mention the gray.
I've only got 5 minutes, so let me get right down to business here. I am a veteran. Served 65 through 67 in the United States Army. I'm one of the founding members of the American Legion Post 801, the Nordonia Hills American Legion Post 801, and I was its very first commander. I've served in several other capacities. Presently, I'm the judge advocate and the chaplain. I'm trying to pass the chaplain's job off to my good friend Fred over there, who is a chaplain, but he just keeps nodding me to keep going ahead. He's happy where I'm at, and I guess he's happy where he's at. Anyway, we had this meeting. I had a meeting with the mayor, 4 or 5 months ago that I came to you, sir, and asked what he thought of this idea of we doing a memorial, a veterans memorial, in the city of Macedonia. Now, we cover 5 cities. The Nordonia Hills American Legion Post 801. That's Macedonia, of course, Twinsburg, Northfield Center, and Sagamore Hill. So we have a large range of areas that we could actually put a memorial. Why is this memorial being slated to go into Macedonia? Pretty simple. 4 of the 6 members on the executive committee of Post 801 live in Macedonia. Power goes with the numbers. So we looked at different sites, and this is centrally located. It's called Memorial Park, and we've asked for 2 things of the mayor, and that's to change the name to Macedonia's Veterans Memorial Park. And number 2, grant us the ability to put a memorial there. I have an artist concept of the memorial. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a beautiful memorial. It's going to be approximately 13 feet high. It's the background is black granite. The emblems are the 5 emblems representing the U.S. Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and of course the Coast Guard. And those will be in bronze. On the back side of the granite wall will be a dedication plaque naming what the memorial stands for, what it's commemorated for. So I was told that we were going to have a meeting Tuesday night with the mayor, and the mayor announced that he was asking us to join him as an advisory committee to serve at his pleasure. And that's what the membership has done, including he asked Joe to be a member. He asked your service director to be a member. And there was another, Carl Quisenberry, who's not a executive board member with Post 801, but one of the founding fathers. So we're serving at the pleasure of the mayor, and hope that we can bring this to reality and have a memorial plaque. It just seemed like the center of the city was a good location for it to go into. That's being completely renovated. The 4 firemen, the bronze firemen that were there, are being put someplace else, so that's just gonna be dedicated to veterans. So it makes sense to me to put it there. If there's any questions, I'm more than
Yes.
happy to ask.
What is the width of this? You mentioned it's
This,
13 feet.
you're probably looking at a good 10 feet. We haven't got the exact measurements, it's being worked on as we speak,
Okay.
okay? Our commander happens to be able to do this, and so he's got a copy of this, and I told him the measurements of basically what I've got here, and he's gonna come back with the exact measurements of
I'm sure it'd be nice.
yeah, it's gonna be beautiful.
Hey, Tom,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
could you show council, you showed everybody else,
I'd
but
love to.
we're
Oh.
curious too.
Yeah, could you hand it to Mr.
Yes.
Deemer?
All right, Tom, let me help you along with this a little bit.
Sure.
Thanks, Joe.
Your post has been kind enough to offer me, something that we could put in the messenger. So
Yes.
as November, we'll have a picture of that memorial in it for everybody to see. We're gonna start talking about just what is the Legion? And you're going to be explaining to the people of our community why it's called the Legion, what you have to be a member of the Legion. In other words, you have to serve in a war. I've been learning a lot since working with you fellows, all right? So this is good for us, this is good for the community. Thank you very much for all you're doing, and don't forget your commercials. You will be selling bricks.
Yes. The bricks that go around the block, that,
The base of this is, what you're
yes.
talking about? Yeah.
Those are, we're selling bricks, $100 a brick, a little expensive, but we're gonna need to raise some big money here. And,
How
Well,
about, where did they send that money, Tom? Do you want me to help with that? How would you like to work that? Do you wanna provide a name and a number that we can give to the people next meeting?
oh, that'll be, yes, I mean, you can contact me if you wanna buy a brick.
oh, I see.
I should have brought a brick in with me, I have one in the trunk of my car.
Yeah, your name will be on it and lasered on it, right, Tom?
Yes, it'll be lasered on, your name, and you get up to 3 lines on a brick.
I see.
So I can put like Thomas M. O'Brien,
I see we,
US Army, 65.
I see you have the, all of the service emblems up here. Is there going to be, any additional engraving about, you know?
There, on the back side of the plaque, there will be a dedication plaque
Okay,
telling what the monument is there for, the purpose of the monument. I'm in the process of putting the wording together for the dedication plaque at this time.
well, I think it's a wonderful idea. One of the things that, and by the way, I'll be sending in my donation for bricks.
I appreciate that.
And let me just say something about this. I think the park, right now, it's actually behind, those homes that are behind that park which are very close to them, as you know, were rezoned B1 at some point. And actually, I think we should rezone that and eventually, if we can, make the park larger there and make it much more dedicated to different aspects of the military service that have been, many folks in Macedonia have been involved in. My husband was a veteran, and he was an Army veteran, actually, so.
Excellent.
Well,
It's,
just so that you know, Sylvia, the veterans are not only going to be advising and putting a memorial there, they're gonna be helping us design, lay out the park.
Yes.
We're already talking about where are we gonna put parking, and we're talking about expanding it, so.
well, I think it's terrific. I have been looking at that zoning and that area there, that slice of land, and I think that I would like to eventually see that if it comes to be that someone would want to leave and sell their home, that we would actually find a way to invest in bringing all of that land that's currently there on Bedford Court
Right.
into a memorial park that really honors the veterans. So I'm really happy that you're doing it, and I think it's a great idea, and appreciate your coming in and talking about it.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Congress.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, next on the list is Dave Tammy.
My name is Dave Tammy. I live at 8865 Smoke Rise Drive. Since there's no thing going on, Don Cook is my neighbor, so if there's anybody has any comments on that, that's fine. But first, I want to preface this, I'm not a public speaker. I've never talked in front of this many people before, so please bear with me. I'd like to thank all the veterans here, because if it wasn't for your service, I would not be able to come here and speak to our council and voice opinions that they might not like. I'm just an average guy. I get up every morning, I go to work, cut my grass, I feed my cats. But things that are going on in the city right now are just, I can't believe it. So I've written down some comments, and hopefully I can read this without making a lot of mistakes. I would like to voice my opinion pertaining to the ridiculous and at times childish behavior that has been exhibited by some of our elected council persons. If you run for mayor and lose, you lose. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps, go home, evaluate why you lost, and prepare for the next mayoral election. Don't run for city council so you can wreak havoc in the city to advance your own political aspirations. To prevent this from happening in the future, possibly next time the charter review comes around, there could be a change. If you're sitting on council and have a council seat, and you want to run for mayor, you should give up your seat. If you run for mayor and lose, you can't run for council until the next mayoral election. This might solve some of these problems we're having right now. Will it? I don't know. I'm making conjectures. This is my opinion. Speaking of the city charter, don't waste the time of the review committee trying to get the election concept changed because you feel that's why you lost. I don't think the voters of Macedonia will experience cognitive dissonance if we have to choose between more than 2 mayoral candidates. We're a lot smarter than that. And I actually looked up what cognitive dissonance is, and I'm not going to go into it right now, but if you're curious, you can look it up yourself and you'll see where I'm going with this. Now to what I call the financial director circus. I couldn't think of any other terms to use but a circus because I think this is totally ridiculous. I can't believe how anyone on council can defend the actions of the financial director, who violated numerous work rules, which in order to save time, I'm not going to mention. We've all heard them here many times before. We've read them in the paper. We all know what they are, so why waste time? After numerous investigations and tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars wasted, he remains on paid leave. Why, I don't know. To inform council members who defend him in the real world, and what I mean by real world is out at a non-public employee position, working for a company, having your own company, he would have been fired. No paid leave, no investigations, fired, period. Voters do not want unethical and incompetent employees controlling your tax dollars. I don't know about where any of you work, but I know where I've worked and where I've worked in the past. Some of those work rules are actual immediate firing. No questions asked, no reviews, no discussion. You're gone. Pack your stuff. Excuse me? If you have a comment, this is my turn to speak, please.
I know.
Say that. Okay, that's all right. Also, the same council people who are accusing the mayor of receiving free snowplow and garbage pickup, which a lot of other cities do give to their mayors, voted themselves raises and hospitalization. And I'm not sure about this one, but I also believe they voted themselves fitness center memberships. I'm not sure about that. I could be wrong. They also did away with the city safety director and assigned those duties to the mayor. Well, along with assigning those duties to the mayor and the extra work, there was no increase in his salary. But when the new mayor comes up, guess what? There's going to be an increase in that mayor's salary, the new mayor coming up. And I wish I had the opportunity to vote for my own salary increases and give myself better benefits. Most of us don't have it, even if you own your own business. I'd also like to thank Mayor Kupta for serving the city of Macedonia for the last three mayoral terms. Despite a volatile council, Mayor Kupta has led the city through some of the toughest financial times this city and country have experienced. While other cities floundered, Macedonia has flourished. And I'd like to end by saying the mayor and council serve us people, not themselves. They're elected to work together for the better of Macedonia. I feel what's been going on the past few years, instead of hearing the concerns of the people, be it flooding, be it zoning issues, council is wasting time on arguing over somebody who should have been fired, arguing over ridiculous things instead of really taking care of the business that the city should. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and thank all you veterans.
Next, we have Marty Skarupa.
I was listening so intently that I forgot to count. I think I was number 5, right? Okay. All right. My name is Marty Skarupa, as the mayor said, and I live with my husband at 8199 South Bedford Road, and I have lived there with my husband since 1978. So I think, well, this is my hometown. I love Macedonia. Okay, I am here, though, to talk about a letter which all of council members have, I believe, been given a copy. And it is from the law offices of Warner Mendenhall. He is an attorney that the residents of South Bedford have hired to present their interest to the city concerning Ambassador Soccer. And so I'm going to take the time to read the letter. It says, it is addressed to Attorney Deemer. I greatly appreciate your response. The South Bedford Road residents have asked me to reply. I respectfully disagree with your conclusions, which contradict your prior statements on this matter. And the key word here is contradict. Council meeting January 8th, 2015, this is a transcription. Joe Deemert says, quote, the contracts we've been working on between the parties have not even been finalized or signed. The lawyers are still bickering over the terms of the sale. This is all preliminary. If it's defeated, it saves the property owner the cost of going through construction drawings. So we are obligated by law to give the notices to the adjoining property owners before the BZA makes a decision. That's why everyone was notified. So it is very preliminary. This is the preliminary stage. The property owner will not lose that much money when he's denied, so it's an easier process to go through. Once he gets approval, if he were to get approval, then they go and spend the money. Then they finalize the contract. Then council's got to approve the contract. I mean, we're way early. Unquote. Sylvia Hannikin then, Ms. Sylvia Hannikin says, quote, there has been, just to clarify, Joe, the actual contract would have to be approved by the city, unquote. Joe Deemer responds, quote, yes. In prior undated correspondence, Mayor Kuchka also describes Macedonia as the owner/trustee. There is more on the back side of that letter, which I won't read. And then there is the letter which the mayor wrote to Mr. Doty. And again, it's not dated, so I have no idea when this was written. But, and I will not read the whole letter, but if you will look at the second paragraph, first line, it says, quote, this will confirm that as owner/trustee of this property, the city of Macedonia grants to Ambassadors football, and it goes on, et cetera, et cetera. We have had a lot of discrepancies coming from the city's law director's office. And all I am requesting is that you all, as council people, keep this in mind when the time comes where you will have to approve the agreement between the city and Ambassador. Approve it as the law director stated to Ms. Sylvia Hannikin that you all would have to do. I thank you.
Mayor, in response, although I do not have the dramatic inflection in my voice, I did respond to Mr. Mendenhall already today. He was apparently not aware of my email to everyone on January 16th of this year, right after the council meeting that is quoted by the speaker, indicating that I did not have all of the documents at the meeting when that question was asked, went back, read them, and within a week answered in detail all of the questions that were made. I also was asked again in April of this year and sent out another response to all of council and to the department heads indicating what I had answered in January 16th. So nothing is inconsistent. The use of the date, the responses I made off the cuff at the meeting on January 8th were clarified on January 16th, again on April 24th, and I don't know what more I can do, but the speaker can talk to her attorney tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll share those emails if no one else did, but they were circulated quite widely.
Moving on, next is Joe's group.
Good evening, everyone. You'll be surprised, I'm not going to talk about Ambassador. However, with Mr. Deemert's comment, the mayor still refers to the city as the owner trustee, regardless. In any case, I live on South Bedford Road, 8199 South Bedford, and I'm here to talk about the traffic issue on Highland Road in South Bedford. This has been talked about, debated, discussed ad infinitum. Every problem has a solution, and the city created this problem of not having an operating light. Because you put that bridge in over the railroad tracks, you created a problem. It's time you come up with a solution, and there's always a solution. To have the light constantly flashing is not a solution. How many times are we going to wait to see if a school bus is hit by an 18-wheeler and your daughter or your niece or your son is on that bus? I was in there at 4:30 yesterday on South Bedford trying to turn left. I left off of Highland to turn to South Bedford. 4:30, peak hours. One school bus, 8 cars, and I was trying to turn left. The bus was trying to turn left. Here comes 4 18-wheelers, cars all the way up to the bridge. I made the right turn. I was able to do it quickly. That bus can't do that. So, if you want your daughter, your son, your niece, your grandson to get killed, that's up to you. I don't want to get killed. Do you want to get killed? I asked Chief Golden, when are we going to have a solution to this problem? Now, I just saw some gentlemen on that road today cutting concrete on that intersection. Their answer to me when I went up and said, what's going on? We're going to put an activation signal to have a left turn signal. I said, well, that's great. If I'm going to turn left from Highland to South Bedford, that's great. But if it doesn't work during peak hours, why are we wasting the city's money? Mr. Golden, do you have a reply?
I do.
Please.
The trip that's already there was put in by the contractor for the construction company, what's the name? Specialized. They cut the original trip that was there when they put that patch of asphalt in. The one that was recently placed in there was put too far forward. We've always had one down there. The new one is located further back so that when the kids coming to school hit that trip, they'll activate it. I sat down there this week watching, and it was too far forward, and half the time the cars didn't activate the trip. To correct your statement, the light isn't always on flash. It's operational before school and after school.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
I have in my report about that light, if you were there yesterday, you saw we had an officer at the box.
No, I didn't pass that intersection yesterday.
Yeah, we had an officer at the box yesterday running it. I got with Signal Service today when they were down there working on that. I don't know if you saw me there at that time.
No, I did not, sir.
I was talking to Signal Service gentlemen down there about how we can operate that light efficiently during high peak times, i.e. afternoon rush.
Sure.
And I have that in my report if you want to wait till.
Okay, okay. And your interpretation of peak rush is from what time to what time, sir?
About 4:30 to 6, about
Okay.
4 to 6 roughly.
Yeah, that's about the time we all face that same problem. And I know some council members have shared with me, I decided to go to South Bedford to go to Builder's Emporium, and I was there for 10 minutes and I couldn't get out. So I'm glad you're addressing it. Hopefully we can have an operating light during the peak hours to save lives, to save our children's lives. I appreciate that. Hopefully we can put that in place. You think that'll happen?
We're working on it. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Is there a plan B if that doesn't work?
We're on Plan B today and it didn't work.
What was
But
plan A?
I will cover that in my report.
Okay, fine. Thank you for your time and information, and I hope we all survive that intersection.
All right, that'll be it for comments from the public this evening. We're gonna move right into pending and/or new legislation, starting with ordinance number 52-2015.
Mayor, I'd like to hold ordinance 52, 2015 at second reading by title only.
An ordinance amending section 37503 of the codified ordinances relating to snowmobiles, off-highway motorcycles, and all-purpose vehicles.
Moving on, ordinance number 88-2015.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 88, 2015 for its third reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an EMS billing services agreement with Life Force Management, Inc.
Next will be ordinance number,
Wait,
wait.
I'm sorry,
Third reading,
what's your
sir.
pleasure?
I move we pass and post ordinance number 88, 2015 according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar.
Yes.
Now, we'll move on to ordinance number 89-2015.
I'd like to offer ordinance 89, 2015 for its third reading by title only.
An ordinance authorizing agreement with Cost Recovery Corps, LLC, in order to provide billing and related services regarding motor vehicle accidents.
And what's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 89, 2015.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar.
Yes.
All right, moving on to ordinance number 97-2015.
Don, I think it's 90.
90-2015.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 90, 2015 for its third reading by title only, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Attorney General for delinquent debt collections.
And what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 90, 2015.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar.
Yes.
Moving on, ordinance number 97-2015.
Mr. Mayor, I request that we hold ordinance 97, 2015 at its second reading by title only due to the fact that one of the groups that's most interested in this ordinance has just sent some additional information to council, and Councilman Molnar is interested in discussing a possible amendment with the law department.
And while we're talking about it, this is the donation boxes that are at the shopping centers. We want to try and prevent some of the things that have occurred in the past. One thing we saw was people dropping off like a couch in front of it. So we're not against any type of donation for the poor. Obviously, we would always support that. But what we want to do is try and define, if something like that happens, the who's and the what. So, you know, if someone throws a mattress in front of it and we can't get to it in a timely fashion, are they going to take care of that? So we need to dig down into the weeds and get the details of that and just put those into writing. Joe, I'll be calling you tomorrow if we can talk about that, and I've asked the folks from the donation company to give me a call as well, so.
Okay.
I didn't read it, shall I?
Yeah.
An ordinance completely repealing the existing ordinance, section 117119 of the codified ordinances, donation boxes prohibited, and adopting a new ordinance, 117919, which regulates donation boxes and creates a permitting process.
Moving on, ordinance number 99-2015.
Mr. Mayor, I move, I'd like to offer ordinance number 99, 2015 for second reading by title only, please.
An ordinance providing for a senior snow removal program for the 2015-2016 winter season.
Ordinance number 103-2015.
Mayor, I offer ordinance 103, 2015 for its second and third reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance appropriating the fund transfer from the general fund to account 101-311-5500 for various streetlight repairs by Ohio Edison.
And what's your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 103, 2015.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
And Mr. Molnar.
Just a brief explanation of this. If street light needs repaired, a car crashes into it, we need to prepay that, so we're paying our bills for street light repairs. Yes.
Good job. Ordinance number 106, 2015.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 106, 2015 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with Specialty Construction for the 2015 crack sealing program.
And what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 106, 2015.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
And Mr. Molnar.
One small fact before we pass this one as well. I got with engineering before the meeting to confirm that we are going to crack seal, then paint stripe. So we've made a little boo-boo in the past. We're not going to make that mistake again. So, yes.
Moving on, ordinance number 108, 2015.
107.
107, 2015.
Josephine, do I offer the ordinance and then amend it?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'd like to offer ordinance number 107, 2015 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance making appropriations in order to, too many orders there, in order to fund the operating expenses for the city of Macedonia.
Okay,
Do you need the section?
yes, I got it. I move that we amend ordinance number 107, 2015 to remove the reference to the move of 101, 150, 5345 for $15,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
May I ask a question before my vote? Joe, is there a reason for the ask for the increase for this for litigation? Because that's essentially what's being removed here. There was a question that came up in the work session as to what the increase was for, and I think I'd rather understand why before I vote on that.
I have no idea what the amount was for. The finance
15,000.
department asked for it. We just send in our bills as agreed upon by Mr. Engel and I in council a while ago. So if there's a question about anything in particular, the bill's the bill, litigation's litigation. Obviously, it may be litigation relating to 3 council members who don't want to pay for it, but in the end, the court will take care of that. So I would not vote for it if I were you. It's bills to the city are bills to the city.
Well, let me
Mayor,
make one comment, Nick, if I may.
Can I finish, please?
Uh,
Mayor, can we get
that I verified, oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Can we get a little bit more define what this is about then with the finance department? I'd like to know why they're asking for the increase. I don't know if there's an outstanding bill that has been paid, but if they're asking for more funds in the account, that would lend its hand to say that maybe they need more money because more are coming. I don't know what the case is, but I'd like to know why the increase was asked for.
Well, did we suspend the rules on this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everything was taken care of. She did that, the first, second, third reading. She did suspend the rules. Then Ms. Hannigan offered the amendment to remove that line item. Mr. Molnar then just entered into the question relative to the amendment.
Okay.
That's all we are at this
Well, if he
point.
needed more information, should not have suspended the rules. So if you want to withdraw your vote on that, you can do that, or you vote no on it.
He hasn't actually
Well,
voted yet.
we had other items
On the
in there.
I
amendment.
tried to
He
do that
hasn't
last
voted on
December
it.
and you said no, so.
We
Can't
had
do
other
that.
items that we do need to pass. If I may say now, you wanted to finish your statement. I examined the bills that we have through August, and that was on August 8th, and there's no indication of any change of any kind. Now, there may have been something that happened that I'm not aware of, but that was less than a week ago, and we were at 55% as of the end of July. So it didn't appear, so all we're doing is removing it. It's not saying it can't be brought back separately, that's all.
I'm just asking for understanding.
Right,
That's
that's
all I'm
fine.
after is, I
Okay.
don't want to vote until I understood precisely
Right.
what I'm voting on, so
Right.
for me to even give a vote, I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
All
All right.
We
I need
have
a roll-
one abstention.
Well, we
today.
haven't voted
We
yet.
haven't voted, sir.
No,
I'm gonna abstain from
he's
the-
abstaining from the motion to amend.
I haven't,
Yes.
I haven't even given a roll call for that.
Okay,
May I
Go
do
ahead.
that now and then?
yeah.
Okay. Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Abstain.
Now,
Okay, what's your pleasure?
I move we pass and post ordinance 107, 2015, according to law.
Second.
Amended.
As amended.
Amended, excuse me, as amended according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
And Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Moving on, ordinance number 108, 2015.
It's me.
No.
Okay, yes, okay.
Nick?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to offer ordinance 108, 2015 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a revised agreement with the Summit County and all other participating municipalities with regards to the intergovernmental memorandum of understanding for the job creation and retention and tax revenue sharing with the term beginning October 1, 2015 through June 30th, 2016.
And what's your pleasure?
Move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 108, 2015.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannigan?
Yes.
Mr. Mulner?
Yes.
Moving on, resolution number 109, 2015.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer Resolution 109, 2015 for first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution confirming the appointment of Joe Mithley to the Planning Commission to fill a vacancy of a term ending July 3rd, 2020.
And what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd offer Resolution number 109, 2015, and move that we pass and post according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
No.
Mr. Engel?
No.
Ms. Hannigan?
No.
Mr. Mulner?
There's a great deal of conversation revolving around this in the work session today. And before everyone gets in a large uproar about this, I'm gonna be real clear about it. Since I've been on council, I have never opposed anyone the mayor has put up for any commission. In our charter, it states that that is his position to do such, and unless it was a gross imposition, I would never doubt his appointment of anyone. So, there's a lot of political things being tossed around, but again, I have never said no to anyone he's proposed for any other reason, unless, like I said, it was a gross imposition, so my vote is yes.
That's the end of the legislation this evening, unless there's any other motions or legislative action. Hearing none, I'd like to move on, please, to correspondence from the clerk.
I do have one, sir, and it was meant to be read last time. It was distributed to council, but the chief asked me to make sure that this is, it's a very, very good letter. Dear Chief Golden, I am taking this opportunity to write to you regarding Patrolman Holmes and Hathaway. As you are fully aware, the national media and social networking sites surrounding police activities in recent months have portrayed many officers in a negative light. Unfortunately, in several of these cases, the police may have overstepped their sworn duty to protect the citizens in their communities, as was this recent case in Cincinnati. Oftentimes, though, this reporting is one-sided and the population are never provided the full picture in the turn of events leading up to this attention. Though these recent events, it is unfortunate that many have become skeptical and unfortunately concerned regarding local law enforcement. It is my intention to inform you of 2 exemplary police officers in the Macedonia Police Department. I have known Hathaway for several years now and find him to be an outstanding young officer with great concerns in the betterment of our community. He has been honest, forthright, and concerned for the young population who live in Macedonia and who exemplify what a police officer should be, courageous, courteous, and compassionate. Sean is a great asset to this community. His knowledge and interest with these young people are evident. On Monday, June 15th, my wife Ruth had taken my son John to the police station to file a report for a crime that had been committed against him in the evening before. Holmes met with her and John took his statement. His concern for John's injuries, both physically and emotionally, were evident when he started to investigate this crime. We found Chris also to be courteous, concerned, and professional. An officer we felt had the community's best interest first and foremost, and a strong concern for the safety of its residents. Subsequently, through this ordeal, I've spoken on several occasions with Detective Ken Turley. I have expressed to him on numerous occasions how I was grateful for both Hathaway and Holmes' professionalism throughout this unfortunate situation. Regardless of us being brought through together because of this current circumstances, if I had been further aware of the true character of these 2 officers through their efforts, I would have written to you before. It is critical that our police force be made up of people with integrity, a quality that is essential in everyday police life. These 2 officers are a testament to the badge they wear. The fact that they are officers in our community makes it a plus for the citizens of Macedonia. I ask that you please continue to acknowledge their fine work. This is from David Love of Airlane Drive.
Okay, that's it. Moving on, Mayor's report. The Council and the Mayor of Macedonia received correspondence from the Sagamore Hills trustees in regards to a recent merger for dispatching between the Sagamore Hills and Macedonia. The letter referenced a recent email by trustee Paul Boucher from Northfield Center in which he made accusations of impropriety between Sagamore Hills and Macedonia. In that email, we were accused of conspiring to switch Sagamore to our dispatch and that it was illegal. Mr. Schweikert, a trustee of Sagamore Hills, said it was not illegal, citing a statement from the assistant prosecuting attorney, John Golansky. Mr. Schweikert went on to say that information in Mr. Boucher's email was false and that the accusations he made were baloney. As far as the statement from my office regarding this incident, I am reiterating that there was not any conspiracy. Sagamore Hills came to Chief Golden asking for help, and we did our best to come to their aid. That's what neighbors do. There was no conspiracy. The definition of the word conspiracy is secret planning by a group of people to do something illegal or harmful. There's a lot more involved to run governments than to spend a day conniving. The government is the target for the word conspiracy, but I think the word is a bit overused by some. Everything is a conspiracy. The same thing happened when Macedonia tried to regionalize fire departments years ago, and Northfield Center pulled out of those discussions. It should not be a matter of territorial battles of will. It's simply about saving taxpayer dollars, not turf wars. I would like to thank the trustees of Sagamore for straightening out this matter we look forward to working with you in our future endeavors. The I-271 ramp and the widening of Interstate 271 and Route 82 in front of Speedway are ODOT projects. They're definitely going to cause delays and maybe even some temporary shutdowns. How do you keep informed? One way is to call the city, which is not really the best way, because we have no control over those projects. Once ODOT takes over, we're out of the picture. So now what? There's a direct line for ODOT District 4 information. That number is 330-786-2209. It will be on our website. It will be in this month's messenger coming out. Calling that number will get you results and information quicker than calling the city. Please remember to sign up for Nixle. Just text our zip 44056 to 888-777. I hear people thinking, oh my God, he's saying this again. I cannot say this enough. The service is provided to you for free by the city, just to keep you informed. A good for instance happened this morning. Everyone who has Nixle was advised of a road closure. South Freeway Drive was closed. It was not supposed to be closed, but we all know that stuff happens. ODOT informed us it had to remain closed. Bam, a Nixle went out to everybody who got it. They got a text, and a lot of people probably said, oh my God, I gotta make different plans. And it also sent out a text when the road was open. So now you can make your plans according to that. Please keep in mind that the I-271 project can affect traffic not only on Route 82 and the interstate, it also affects Ledge Road and South Freeway. Once again, please find alternate routes. There's the northbound I-271 ramp next to Bob Evans on Route 8, and you can also access 271 north off Pleasant Valley and Broadway in Oakwood as a temporary measure. Much of the repairs are going to be a factor traffic-wise until the end of 2016. So there's not going to be relief in sight next week, next month. It's going to be next year. Don't forget that Ledge will be closed for the revamping of that ancient railroad bridge that is crumbling there. That repair was slated to be done already, but because of some kind of special cement requested by Norfolk Southern, the project is yet to be begun, or to begin, I'm sorry. You know, it's kind of like saying, I want my suit, but I want it stitched like silk. I mean, the important thing is to get that bridge fixed before somebody gets killed there, or we have a horrific accident because the bridge crumbled and railroad cars spilled all over Macedonia. And I just can't foresee how it can be that important that they have to use that special cement or thread for that suit. Every day I worry about the damaged automobiles and possibly even to my residents. Don't forget, falling rocks. Worst time is when a train is actually going over the bridge. Now, they've been coming out and inspecting and removing some loose rock. Well, I wouldn't trust that bridge as far as I could throw it. The City of Macedonia's Veterans Advisory Committee / Nordonia Hills Legion Post number 801 is officially registered. We had our first meeting Tuesday. It was a great meeting discussing the Macedonia Memorial Park. The committee will be selling bricks for a beautiful memorial they plan to build there. This memorial to all branches of the armed forces will showcase the significance of having a memorial park dedicated to all those who served in the armed forces during times of war. This park will be a sanctum for all the veterans and their families and for our residents. Those people who want to go there and reflect on the cost of our freedom. This hallowed ground will be designed and built by veterans in our city with that goal in mind. As far as the service department goes, Memorial Park restoration of the gazebo is nearly complete. John was in showing me the stone they're going to put on the gazebo. It's beautiful, it's just unbelievable how much work has been done on that gazebo because it pretty much was junk. Now it's gonna be like brand new. And the brick and the stone, the brick of the memorial and the stone we're putting up are going to be compatible to each other, so it looks great. And they're moving forward right now with the electrical installation for Christmas lighting. For years, we've been the city with one tree and a string of lights. I can't wait for this year, I really can't. Finally. Sugar Bush Park with the new walkway and pavilion floor installed, grading and soil restoration has been going on. Parking areas of the park are to remain closed at this time to complete the grading work, so if you're going there, you're gonna have to be inconvenienced a little bit longer. Estimated time of completion of work in the park will be the fall of this year. Stormwater. Our crews are out repairing fallen catch basins. You gotta watch these things. Catch basins are the storm sewers in your streets that have curves. And those catch basins are built in such a way that sucks. It's terrible. I don't even know how they can build them that way, because after time they start to deteriorate. They're made like a chimney, and the bricks fall out, get down in the side of the catch basin, block the sewers so that water backs up and we have problems. And then the grading sinks. So if you see a grading sinking, please don't drive over that, because your wheel will go down in there. Please notify us that we have a problem, and we've got them all over the place. The good news is that we have a service department that has the capabilities of fixing them, otherwise it would be costing us a fortune. So they're out doing that right now. I think today they did 3. They're saw cutting the streets to start digging them out and replacing them. Gloria and Eileen, we're rounding third and heading home. Gloria and Eileen are just about done. There's only one lot there, I believe, that has to be fixed yet, and that's because we're waiting for that resident to do a new driveway. And that takes care of my report. We're gonna move right into committee reports. Hearing none. Department reports. Mike.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm going to continue on with the catch basin. Catch basin's going to be inspected. We have an inspector going around, and they're going to open up each catch basin, take a look to see what is going on with those. We should complete that this winter. That way by springtime, the service department, I have a new list of work to do with those basins. We did receive with the QBS selection 3 engineering firms for the Shepherd Road Sanitary Sewer Project. The goal of that project, if we go ahead with the sewers and council authorizes it, is to keep the cost as close to a replacement septic system, what that cost would be. So we're shooting for the neighborhood around $25,000 per lot. If it starts exceeding that, we'll certainly notify council and let you guys know that it's probably not a worthy project. We're also trying to set up a meeting with the Manor House with the latest adjudication order to try to work out the differences before they go to the state for their appeal. Also, the City Hall roof, we received plans for the renovations here at City Hall, and it's under plan review. Once we get the plans approved through the planning process, we'll present that to council and along with the cost estimates of what that would be. And as far as the stormwater mapping to satisfy the EPA Phase 2 compliance, that is done, and we'll be bringing a completed map to the next council meeting. That concludes my report.
Very good, Mike. Today, the health department was in talking to me about septic systems and the fact that they're going to be putting monitors on them very, very soon. So believe me, the cost of having a septic tank used to be nothing. You know, some stuff for your facilities every once in a while, and that's it. Not anymore, because the health department is making us aware of EPA laws and restrictions and things that are gonna be mandated, which means do this or die. All right, so, septic tanks are on their way out, and yes, it does cost money, but it'll cost you as much money to have a sewer, as have a septic tank, the way things are going. It's getting worse and penalties will be enforced. I was told that today. So they will be here talking to council and our residents shortly. All right, Nick, what do you have?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for passing Ordinance 106 tonight for the crack sealing program. A little background on that project. The list of streets that we have in that program for streets that will be crack sealed, according to budget constraints, consist of South Bedford Road, Lake Forest Estates subdivision, Thousand Oaks subdivision, Rolling Hill subdivision, and Parkview Estates subdivision. If by chance we accomplish the crack sealing of all those pavements and we still have money left in the contract, we'll extend that list accordingly based off of the pavement condition rating map and the next list of streets that would be up next.
Thank you, Nick. John?
I have a
Can I ask a
question.
question?
I do have a question for
Questions?
Nick.
All right.
The OLG detention basin project?
Yes, engineering design is scheduled for completion on or about September 18th, which is a Friday. So we're still looking at finishing that project up and being able to get to construction this fall.
Is there a plan to have landscaping around the detention area? What has been decided on that?
We haven't even considered the landscaping. I guess if there's money in the budget, you can consider.
Well, I'm just saying we're behind the church there, and they may want to not be looking at a hole. So, just,
I mean,
we need to probably talk
the
about
extent
this.
of landscaping thus far is,
Okay.
seeding the basin. So no, there's no landscape architectural element that's
Okay,
being
well,
considered with the design of the basin.
We need to talk about that offline, thank you.
Hey, Nick, I hate to throw you on the bus here, but can you update us on Sioux and North Bedford and Ledge? I've had a lot of questions about Sioux especially.
Yes, engineering design for Sioux Culvert is completed. The permit application to the Army Corps of Engineers just went out this week. We'll be able to go out for bids while we're waiting on that response. Typically, you have to wait, I believe it's roughly 45 days before you hear back from the Corps. So that won't delay the bidding. The only item we have to resolve before we go out for bids that we're currently working on are the 3 easements, because as I mentioned at the last meeting, the existing culvert, based on the field survey, we found out once we researched the right-of-way and the property boundaries and located the existing culvert encroaches on private property. The new culvert is going to exceed the length of the existing culvert, so it's obviously going to continue to exist on private property. So as soon as we have those 3 easements secured, we'll move forward and request authorization from council to go out for bids.
Can you define an easement?
Basically, the right to use that land for that stormwater purpose.
And are those easements gonna be in the backyards of those property owners?
The property at the south side of Crow, it's on the side yard line. They're side yards,
Okay.
rear
then-
side yards.
North Bedford and Ledge update? Where we are,
I
still in the
believe-
engineering process?
I believe the funds were appropriated at the last meeting. We're in the scheduling phase. As soon as we have the purchase order, we can get the surveyors out there to begin that process.
Excuse me, Nick. I had a meeting with Mike and and I were discussing, and going forward, if you could let council know when you're gonna be opening bids, if you can notify council so that we can be present, the ones that, who
Sure,
wanna
I-
come. Just thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I guess I can copy on, I mean, these are publicly advertised
Right.
for several weeks before we open them, but I can certainly send you a copy
That
of the
would be
legal
great,
notice.
going forward, if you could notify the council when the bids are gonna be opened and everything, so if we wanna come, we can be in the process of that. That would be great.
You bet.
Thank you.
Have we, the stormwater study and the Ledge, North Bedford area, have we made any motion to move on that?
I'm sorry, the North
The
Bedford. and Ledge-
stormwater study that we just authorized.
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
Oh,
Molnar.
that's what he's talking about?
All right, any other questions for Nick? Hearing none, Tim?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank council for the three ordinances, 88, 89, and 90. Ordinance number 88 is a new contract with our billing company. We do outsource our billing for our EMS. It's actually a reduction in cost for us because of our electronic run sheet management. It's easier for them to download our information, therefore they gave us a reduction in price. The other one is the motor vehicle crash accidents. That is so that we can bill for MVAs that occur that are out of the ordinary, especially up on 271 if you have a semi that crashes or starts leaking fuel, that we can charge them for our extended time. And the next one is for delinquent debts. This is a collection agency. The Attorney General is now doing that, got into the business. So we're contracting with them to do our debts. Most of the time, we send people to collections. It is because they have received payment by their insurance company but refuse to make payment to us. So unfortunately, we have to not let them keep that money and give it to where it was intended to go. So we do send them to collections. And just to let you know, it was perfect timing, I guess. We're on back-to-back calls right now. In 2014, to this date, we had 850 calls. We are currently at 1,080, so we're 230 calls ahead of last year. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but 230 calls is the largest jump we've ever had in one single year. So
we need to be collecting.
well, that's a lot of calls. Our collections do go up, absolutely, when we do that. Now, we do soft bill residents, so if they have insurance, we accept their insurance payment as full payment. It's no out-of-pocket to our residents. But out-of-town residents, they do get billed the full amount when we call. But 230 calls is the largest jump we've ever had in calls to service, so.
All right, thank you. John?
Mayor, I too had a call this morning where the gentleman was upset that Freeway Drive was closed and he was not familiar with Nixle, so I talked to him about that. If you have a smartphone, you can get a text from Nixle. If you do not have a phone, you can get it on your computer. Just go to nixle.com and you can sign up that way. It's a free service. So I still talk to people every day that do not have Nixle and have not heard about it. We finally we finally have the flashing no-through truck signs up. I believe you ordered those back in, Jim DiCatano ordered those
Yes.
back in, I think, April, something
Right.
about then. Service finally got the majority of them up. We got 10 in the process, in the initial order. We're gonna try them. We do not have the ones up at Shepherd Road northbound from 82 because of the construction, Shepherd Road southbound from 82 because of the construction, and South Bedford from 82 because of the construction in that corner. And those will be put up once all that construction's done, but they are finally up. I received a call about once a week from a gentleman on Twinsburg Road wanting to know when they were being put up because I promised they were going up. I didn't know the service was gonna have trouble with the trucks, and there was an issue with the signs that were initially ordered, so they are finally up. School is back in, obviously. I've been dealing with, I've been watching the traffic for the high school, traffic for Ledgeview. The high school traffic flows pretty well. As I mentioned to Mr. Skrupa, the trip was too far up on Highland Road to turn on to South Bedford. That was fixed today, and so that should be operational and resolve some of the problems that we had there. Folks wouldn't pull far enough up, and they wouldn't get the arrow to turn on to South Bedford. So that caused some backup. So that should be resolved. We had a meeting with the principal at Ledgeview, Jolene Reinhardt, and we discussed some of the issues she has with backup on Shepherd Road.
Yes.
We're working with her to try to resolve that. We have a little bit of more busing now, and they still have issues. So we're working with her. We think we have another plan that's going to help that situation. This morning, we had a broken trip, actually a broken light on South Bedford and Highland. It was on flash during school, we couldn't get it off. We had to run the light at South Bedford and 82, and that light wasn't working correctly. I spoke with Pathmaster and ODOT on that, and there's a meeting there tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. So aside from the traffic issues, we're having malfunctioning issues with some of the systems that we have in place. And lastly, we've been looking at resolving the issue over the South Bedford Highland Road traffic signal that goes to flash after about, I think it's 3 o'clock or something around there. We ran a series of tests yesterday from, I believe it was 4:15 to 5:15, something around then. Traffic backed up into Twinsburg, all the way to Chamberlain Road. I got with Signal Service today and had them rework the signal, and we ran a different pattern today. Traffic still backed up to Twinsburg. So we haven't resolved that issue yet. The main problem there is we have an astronomical amount of traffic westbound on Highland Road. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. One of the issues that came up is when they closed Twinsburg Road to Route 8, a lot of those folks that went to Twinsburg Road to Route 8 now stay on Highland Road. So it's an issue that we've tried to address every year. We're looking at addressing it again this year. Mr. Skarupa, if you have any ideas, I'm all ears.
Okay.
Talk to your residents. As you know, my administrative assistant lives on your street, and I hear from her quite frequently.
Good.
To resolve the issue.
Good.
It's not forgotten.
She's got your ear, that's good.
It's definitely not forgotten. The problem is, there are so many traffic cars and trucks. There's so much traffic with cars and trucks, and the trucks take a while to get up to speed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that we can activate that light. I'm not gonna promise you we're gonna turn it on. We're looking at ways of getting it done. To give you an example, today, we had the signal run minimum 2 minutes, east and west on Highland, minimum. And that wasn't active until a car went over one of the trips. It's still backed up into Twinsburg. And I had my lieutenant go down there, and it took him 10 minutes to get from where the traffic was stopped to Route 8. I don't know that we can solve your problem. We are working on it. Talk to your neighbors, talk to anybody you can think of. I'm all ears for ideas. As I said, I hear about it all the time, but we're working on it. You know, I don't know how many more ideas I can come up with. I've talked to Signal Service for probably half an hour today on how we can get past this issue. These lights are very complex in what you can do and how you trigger them. It's certainly not nearly as easy as some people think, is just give it more time here or there. It's way over my head. But please, talk to your neighbors, come up with ideas. I'm all ears.
I have a couple I'll talk to you about.
Please.
And not only the neighbors, but the whole city, because anybody who travels there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a city problem, not just South.
I got a question on Facebook about that from a gentleman, and you know, we've monitored the situation, we've timed things. One of the things that some people tend to forget is during rush hour, you're going to have to wait longer than, you know, at other times. It's to have to wait a minute to turn is not unreasonable. And I'll give you an example. At the north end of your street, Route 82 in South Bedford, the minimum length of light time for green on 82 is 105 seconds. That's almost 2 minutes. Then you have yellow, you have a delay, that's 5 more seconds, and that doesn't take into account the arrow time. So if you go north on your street, you're probably going, if you just missed the light, you're gonna wait at least 2 minutes on that end. And some of the times that I had officers count on the southern end, it was around 30 seconds to turn off of Highland onto South Bedford. Well within a reasonable amount of time for rush hour, and the average time to get off to make a left, not a right, because right's easier, as you know, to make a left was about 105 seconds. Still not unreasonable, and I understand that that's an average time. Some folks waited 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, a little bit. Some folks got down there and turned right off. Glad to work with you. We may not, I'm not gonna tell you we're gonna be able to do it. We'll try. We're trying, we try just about every year to do it. That's the best we can do.
All right, I'll talk to you about a couple
Okay.
ideas.
So that 271 ramp opening, that will increase our time on South Bedford, because I'm sure traffic's gonna back up.
What do you mean by the opening?
People, going northbound to get on the 271
Mhm.
ramp, they're gonna cut through South Bedford Road.
Well, they've been doing that all along.
Yes, but now that the 271 ramp will be connected to South Bedford, don't you think that they will travel South Bedford more to get onto that ramp?
No, I don't think any more people will go than they would, because they'd make a left and get on the ramp, or now they're just gonna go straight. I don't think any more people will do it. That's my opinion.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Well, that's a long discussion, but we have to remember that Macedonia had 5 roads going to Route 8. Now we only have 4. And Highland Road, is getting jammed so bad, and guess what? Ledge Road's gonna be shut down, so we're gonna have 2. It's just
So-
getting to the point where there's nothing we can do, it's just gonna be bad, you gotta bear with it.
So, excuse me, Mayor, by squeezing this Ambassador complex in, that's not gonna help the problem. With people coming, going to stadium events, especially when phase 2 is built, it's going to only increase problems that we already have.
Well, the latest that I've heard is there will be an additional lane put on South Bedford because of that.
That's a turning lane going, going west,
Right.
yes.
So it will generate some relief in that, and they're also gonna be doing a lot because now they have wetlands there, so they gotta do a lot with draining all the stormwater and water out of your yards out onto Highland Point. I'm not gonna belabor the point with you. Nick, can we get an estimate from engineering on what we can do to address this traffic problem? Could you come up with a price for us?
Absolutely, I'll talk to the traffic engineer.
I mean, let's just address it, okay? This is what we can do, we'll at least start with that, so we get something going.
Should
All right?
already be an engineering study out there for when they built, Highland there, when they widened it.
Just to clarify,
Yeah, well, the only
Save us some
problem is,
money.
At that time, Quinnsborough Road was still open,
I know.
see? So,
just a point of clarification though, these traffic impact studies that are done for the individual developments are not corridor studies. So we do have pocket studies. For instance, the Ambassador project had the traffic impact study that looked at parts of Highland Road, but I think what you need for Highland Road is an overall signal timing analysis for that whole corridor. And to answer your question, Mayor, yes, we can look at that and come up with some recommendations.
Well, at least you can give us an idea of what it would cost, and then council can decide.
Nick, we also,
Talking about water issues, Ambassador on their plot plan, the retention basin is at 980. Our groundwater is at 977. So their dry retention basin is gonna be 3 foot above our groundwater.
Yeah, I don't know which, I mean, we don't have any detailed engineering submittals
Well, these
that were,
are
they
things
may
that
have been their, yeah, I don't know which plans.
It will be, it will be because they're already aware that they're going to have to do a lot more than they had anticipated as far as stormwater. So I'm telling you that right now because it's not resolved. It's not resolved to this point. We gotta find a way to get that stormwater out of there, and that's their problem if they come.
Yes, but it don't need to percolate down into the existing groundwater that we already have. I have 2 sump pumps in my house. I think everybody on South Bedford probably has the same. And, you know,
Yes.
what are we gonna do if we have more groundwater coming in that we cannot get rid of?
How about if you put that in writing and send it to me so I can address it?
I'll do that.
All right.
hey, Nick, with the traffic studies, Mr. Scooper actually brought this up, and I know we talked about it briefly, but just to make it a little bit public, we had a traffic study done by the soccer people. We had another traffic study done by, was it the schools or somebody? And to his point, we need one to encompass all that together. So I think that's kind of what the mayor's alluding to, and it probably makes sense to have all that together at once to show what that would do. I mean, I don't know what the answer is here. I don't think anybody really does. Maybe a roundabout, I have no idea, but something to look at all of that would probably be not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, and we had that was part of the Highland Road package that we talked about earlier in the year when we were looking at potential funding applications for that corridor. So I'll just separate that component out of what was previously presented and send it your way from.
All right, Nick, bring us some figures. We're gonna move on with our meeting, all right, because we have an executive session scheduled for tonight. But if you have comments about any of that, you're welcome to write us, and we'll try and get you answers. All right, Joe, do you have anything?
Yes, Mayor, as many Macedonia taxpayers may have learned, you requested the law department, as a result of a legitimate taxpayer demand, to file action in mid-July against 3 members of council relevant to their lack of doing their duty for the removal of the finance director, who many studies indicated made violations against the law here. The complaint was filed on July 20th of this year. 3 notices were sent to the 3 council persons' homes by the U.S. Postal Service at the direction of the clerk of courts. Those 3 notices were ignored, and the summons was returned to the Court of Common Pleas. To avoid future obstruction to this case and the cost to the county taxpayers and the further delay to the resolution of this important issue to the taxpayers of Macedonia, today I was appointed by the state court as a special process server for the purpose of serving these summonses in order to get this matter going. So it's my pleasure to finally get this resolved by serving councilpersons Darrow, councilpersons Engel.
Thank you, Mr. Deaver.
Thanks. I know you guys are busy and you couldn't get to the post office to pick up your mail, but this will save you that trouble.
I already had your number. I already figured that out.
Good.
Deamer's a smart man.
Oh, yes, he is. He's so smart.
Is there any other unfinished business?
Yes,
this week?
Mr. Mayor, I have some stuff I'd like to say. There is a website out right now, and out of respect for our department heads and for this council, and I'm speaking for Mr. Monar, Ms. Tully, and Ms. Hannigan, myself, and for Mr. Ingo. A statement is made that numerous department heads and employees describe council as dysfunctional and that bullying tactics were used by a few members of this council. I'm here to say that is completely false. I've talked to several employees, and I've also talked to department heads, and that is false. The department heads and the employees have not said that about us, this council. This council works very good together, and we provide everything that the department heads want and the mayor wants, and I think we've done a tremendous job, and I'm sure the department heads can agree that we are not dysfunctional to you at all. We're very kind to you and to the employees. Second, in this website, it is stated here, an established business, born company, who was asking the city for help with his business was turned away because certain members of council believed that his house was already too big. I want to say that this comment is completely false. This comment came from a resident in the audience, not this council, not Mr. Monar, not Ms. Tully, not Ms. Hannigan, not myself or Mr. Ingo at any time. What we actually did, we had a work session to fix the legislation, and so that the legislation would comply to what they were asking for. We then voted on this piece of legislation, and it did pass, okay? And then number 3, okay, number 4. There was a statement here tonight that, that the council has somebody on administrative leave. That also is false. This council does not have anybody on administrative leave. Our mayor does. The charter is very, very clear, and no is no. And we have ordered several times the mayor to return the finance director back to his job, and he has refused to do so. The charter is stated the way it is. the charter is voted on by the people. The people are responsible for the charter. When we go to the polls and we vote, okay? I didn't write the charter, but I did vote on it. And, I'm following the charter. The charter says no. If a department head is to be fired, only a department head, the mayor has to come and get the approval of this council. We've had several meetings, we've had several investigations, yes, we have, which we have not spent any taxpayers' money, but other people have. And so, needless to say, the mayor has been ordered to bring him back to work, okay? And I guess I just got served to, I don't know, you guys were talking earlier about going to war and voting for your rights and stuff like that. Well, here it is. You elected us to be council members and to vote for you. And I have done a very good job at doing my job here in the city of Macedonia. I love Macedonia, and I have voted my conscience, and I've done a very good job. I've looked at every piece of legislation that has been brought before me at every cost. And if any of these department heads have a problem and the mayor comes to us, we're going to look at it. We have looked at it very, very thoroughly, and I'm going to protect any of these department heads all the way to the end. And that's what the charter tells me I have to do. And my vote was no, and Scott Schwab should be brought back here, and he should be working according to our charter. And you don't want like that, then so be it. Then change the charter, but that's what the charter says. I'm not in violation of the charter. The mayor is, and they're going to take us to court to change our vote. Okay, that's what this is. If you think that that's right, that he can pick and choose when to.
Can we comment right now?
No.
We're not allowed to comment?
No.
So, the bottom line is, the mayor's in violation of your charter, not this council. So all those statements are false, and I thank the department heads and I thank the employees, and I've been very, very privileged of working with all of you guys, and I hope I continue to work with you, but, hey, I care about you guys and I care about this community, and I've done everything to try to be, as good as I possibly can to you guys. So I'm sorry that these statements are out there, but I am going to defend this department heads and these employees and this council. That's all I have to say.
We can always bring up that my department heads were trying to get purchase orders to carry on city business and were refused for personal reasons by the finance director. So how is that helping our department heads to keep that man here who wouldn't let them do their job? Is there
I can answer that, Don. I am going to answer that.
You can't answer that.
Sure, I'm going to answer it.
That's what's wrong.
No, I'm going to answer it. Let's answer it.
It can be answered in court. Why wouldn't you pick up
Here's the bottom line.
Answer the court.
Here is the bottom line, Don.
And if that judge decides that I was right in terminating him, there will be repercussions.
Don, okay, you guys, for your information, purchase orders still aren't getting answered. And secondly, purchase orders for somebody who wasn't given purchase orders got 4 raises. Okay, the mayor praised him. Why don't you guys look at the e-messenger? So you could take that to the courts there, Don. He got 4 raises.
What? Why are you doing that?
This is a waste of our time.
Is there any other unfinished business this evening? If not, do we have any new business?
Yes, I do have some, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say that I've been going around looking at the various sites of the parks where we've made changes and rehabilitated a number of areas, over to Eileen Drive, over looking at the various streets that have been repaved. And I just want to compliment the service department employees, the working level, and Mr. Notavange for doing a very good job of keeping us all informed and actually doing a lot of work out there. So thanks to them. Thank you.
Are you going to change your mind and allow me to appoint Mr. Notavange, service director now? Does that mean that? Because that was turned down too.
As you know, and
because your service director said no.
Wait a minute. Let's get on with this. Come on. You don't do that.
Any other new business?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn to executive session for the purposes of discussing purchase of real estate.
Second.
I think we have another motion for executive session. Josephine, could you read that motion, please?
The entire motion reads, a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purpose of discussing the purchase and/or sale of property and merit increases for the recreation director, building commissioner, and police chief.
Can I have a roll call, please?
We need a
Darrow.
second.
Has to be a
Second.
motion. Has to be a motion, Mayor.
Motion.
Yeah, Mr. Engel.
Now we need a second.
Well,
No.
Mr. Engel didn't make that motion.
Okay,
Right,
sorry
yeah.
about that.
I'll make
He
the
only
motion.
wants to go in on a certain subject, he has the right to make it.
I'll make the motion as stated.
Yeah, for clarity purposes, where do you want me to start?
Mr. Engel, you want to withdraw the motion and let him make it?
I'll make the motion to go in for the payroll issues as well. That's fine.
The entire motion that's on the paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Aye.
You need a roll call.
I need a roll call,
Roll.
sir. Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Ms. Hannikin?
Yes.
I miss Mr. Engel.
Yes.
I won't hold
Mr.
it.
Engel
I won't be offended, but yes, thank you.
and Mr. Molnar.
Yes.
All right, folks, we're gonna go into executive session. When we come out, we will only adjourn, so the meeting is technically over. Thank you for coming.
Mr. Feeney, right? I called you 3 times to try to get a hold of you. The last 2 weeks. I know you're on vacation, but Jerry and I wanted to sit down and talk to you about your comments on stormwater. I want to get an understanding of some of those points that you made.
And I don't know, but probably the drawings that you saw.